both cases against Letitia James and James Comey being dismissed on a technicality, let's talk about this story more broadly. We should not at all be feeling sorry for these two characters. Neither one of them are martyrs, even though they're trying to play like they're martyrs. I'm being bullied by the big bad fascists in Trump. Let's not forget both of these people are adjacent or play at least a smaller part in the entire U.S. empire. Their hands are not unclean, I should say. So they come into this whole thing with dirty hands. And also, I see this as a little bit of the goose and the gander, or at least the pot calling the kettle black. Both of these people, whether it's Letitia James or James Comey, to me, I see them as the same as Donald Trump. U.S. judge throws out criminal cases against James Comey and Letitia James.
The judge in the Eastern District of Virginia, Kira, has dismissed the indictments both against former FBI Director James Comey and New York State Attorney General Letitia James because the appointment of Lindsay Halligan, he ruled, was defective, and therefore signing the indictments was a violation, an unlawful exercise of executive power. Therefore, the judge said those two indictments are hereby set aside.
Lindsay Halligan, who Trump named the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia in September, had, quote, no lawful authority to present the indictment, end quote. Quote, I conclude that the Attorney General's attempt to install Ms. Halligan as interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was invalid, and that Ms. Halligan has been unlawfully serving in that role since September 22nd, 2025, end quote.
Lindsay Halligan was legally appointed, and that's the administration's position. I know there was a judge who is clearly trying to shield Letitia James and James Comey from receiving accountability, and that's why they took this unprecedented action to throw away the indictments against these two individuals. But the Department of Justice will be appealing very soon, and it is our position that Lindsay Halligan is extremely qualified for this position, but more importantly, was legally appointed to it.
The decision is a major win for Comey, who was charged with lying to Congress 5 years ago, and James, who was charged with mortgage fraud. Both unequivocally denied wrongdoing and said the cases were a thinly veiled effort by the Trump administration to punish them for opposing Trump.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. But I was also inspired by the example of the career people who refused to be part of this travesty. It cost some of them their jobs, which is painful, but it preserved their integrity, which is beyond price. This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I don't care what your politics are, you have to see that as fundamentally un-American and a threat to the rule of law that keeps all of us free.